Oi, oi, everybody. Welcome to the Double Game Week 25 Deadline stream. And it's live with no fixtures. How are we doing, everybody? My team, as it stands, is in the top right-hand corner of your screen. For first time ever on a Deadline stream. That may change in the next hour. Quite simply because if we get a fixture announcement, I may well be making some moves. But I am, as it stands, Ariola in goal, Diaz and Stones and Ben Mee at the back. Midfield of Salah, Fernandes, Gundogan and Souček up front. Calvert-Lewin, vice-captain Danny Ings, captain Patrick Bamford on the bench. Johnston, Lookman, who have I got on the fucking bench? Soufal and Konsa. Now, if there is a fixture announcement, which I think is still possible at 6 o'clock. If it goes past 6 o'clock, I don't think there will be one. But if there is, I may well be making some changes. And it's very dependent for me if Southampton or Fulham play Tottenham in game week 26. For those joining in the chat, please do have a look at the information on the screen before you ask a question. I can see one in there straight away where it's on the benching dilemma screen. So below me here is benching dilemmas. There's 5 pages worth of players. An either or. If they've got a tick between the two, that is the player I would start. They are all in order, running from left to right. So Cresswell over Rudiger, then etc, etc. Right hand side of the screen is my preferences. Top 10 picks for captaincy for the game week. My preference is Patrick Bamford. If you own and you don't captain him, you're probably going to want him to fail this week, is what I would suggest to you. Therefore, I'm going to captain him, and therefore I get the best of differentials as well. So it's not impossible that I could buy Rafinha if a certain circumstance happens in the next 45 minutes or so, although I think that's probably unlikely. Left hand side of the screen, reminder of your fixtures. Obviously this week, Leeds and Southampton, of course, have a double game week. Those are my predictions for the week on the screen now. I'm predicting a high scorer for Leeds and Southampton on Tuesday night, but I think the rest of the games this weekend might actually be quite low scoring. And the fixture ticker across the bottom will not be updated should there be an additional fixtures, although FPL captain tells me he might be able to do it. Thanks everybody for joining in. I will go through the questions as quickly as possible between now and the 6:30 PM UK deadline in around about 44 minutes or so. If you've asked a question and you think, oh shit, actually the answer to my question is on the screen, please delete that question. I would be ever so grateful, so I can get as many through as many different options as possible. I will also be keeping an eye on the Premier League website, but I am not expecting anything. I do think it is still possible. I will sum it up, however, though. If you want a tweet to refer to, I will read you the tweet that I sent out half an hour ago on Twitter, which says, "What's everyone panicking about? That's a rhetorical question I won't actually answer. Villa, Burnley, Chelsea, Palace, Everton, Leicester, Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Tottenham will double in 26. Wolves almost definitely will double in 26. One of Fulham and Southampton will double in 26. You don't care about Sheffield United and West Brom anyway. Trust me, I'm not a doctor." Joe Gifford, is it worth going for Son and Ings over Kane and Grealish this week if I'm looking to triple captain a Spurs player in game week 26? Really want Ings this week, but feel Kane is the better triple captain option. Listen, you can always take a hit to get Harry Kane back in next week. There are strong rumours floating about on Twitter that Jack Grealish is injured. There are even stronger rumours floating around Twitter about Jack Grealish that his season could be over. I am not ITK. I don't work at Aston Villa. I don't work at any of the Premier League clubs, obviously, oddly enough. But I have heard that, yes, Jack Grealish could well be out for the significant future. So that'll answer your question, Joe. FPL Dougal, hey James, do I sell Che Adams or Cavani for Danny Ings this week? The player I don't sell will be sold the week after anyway. Also check your Twitter DMs. Dougal, thanks, mate, but I'm really unlikely to have a chance to check my Twitter DMs. I'll try and do that while I answer the question to you. That's too fucking long, mate. Thanks for that, Dougal, but I'm not going to mention it out loud because it will just send everybody into a panic, but I appreciate that. I would keep Che Adams. I think Che Adams doesn't play tomorrow, but I think he might come back into the team on Tuesday. So 1 point at tomorrow, Leeds in the week. Cavani's a doubt for the weekend, I'd sell Cavani. Edwin Gran, hi there, it's me again. Start Johnston or Martinez. That's on the benching dilemmas there, Edwin. Actually, no, Johnston's not, in fairness. I would start Martinez over Johnston. Joe Gifford is also pleased that he was first. Rishi Patel, plan was to bring in Shaw this week. Should I bring in Dallas instead? Will mean having to take a hit to get Shaw next week. I mean, if you're that convinced that you wanted Luke Shaw, I would just go down that route, mate. Coolio 2 Foots, good evening. Hello, FPL Finding Glory. Hi, James. Hello. Praise says, hello, James. Want to bring Ings into my team for the double. Thought of bringing in Rafinha for Gundog or Son to free up cash. And move Antonio, 2 free transfers, or straight DCL to Ing moves, and no Rafinha. Thoughts? Yeah, my number one first thought on that, Praise, is your question's too bloody long, mate. I would not sell Gundogan. And I would not sell Heung-min Son either because you want him next week. I wouldn't sell either of those two players. Look, I'm more likely to get Son next week than Rafinha now, I think. So it's a hard no. I wouldn't necessarily sell DCL either. Bevan Rosario, hi. Who should I bench out of Cancelo, Dunk, Shaw, Grealish and Diaz? Need to bench 2. I mean, if Grealish is out, it's not going to matter, but I would start him. The rest of them, bar Luke Shaw, on the bench in dilemma screen, but just replace Shaw with Aaron Wan-Bissaka and you'll find your answer, Bevan. Treat Cancelo as a better option than Diaz. Patrick Lawson, slow today, Edwin. Lewis Coles, hi James, on the same strategy as yourself. Should I go Dallas or Target this week? How likely that Villa get 2 doubles over Leeds 1? Cheers. I mean, look, the hypothetical 28 double that I've been mentioning a few times, there's literally no guarantee that'll happen. I'm fairly certain that they will play next week. In 26, sorry. Leeds obviously won't double in 26, that's a certainty. Dragan says, hi James, Souček to Rafinha from -4 this week only, planning to wildcard next week. See, this is the move I've been debating up a lot. For that to be worthwhile, I need Rafinha to get at least 7 and Souček obviously to blank. To be honest, I think there's every chance that Souček can return this week, so I've decided not to do it. Finn122, start me, Cancelo, Richarlison or Watkins. You just want to start one of them. Watkins. Patrick Donnelly says, Fulham or Southampton more likely for the double. Personally, my own instinct is Southampton a little bit more likely. The information I've just received in my DMs suggests that Fulham might be a little bit more likely. Cheers, Dougal. It's a 50-50 call, in my opinion. Personally, I think Southampton is a little bit more likely. Patrick Donnelly, Fulham or Southampton, that's what we've just done. Matt J, Antonio to Ings from -4. If Southampton don't have a double in 26, I'll go Ings to Kane. It's reasonable. I did Antonio to Ings for free last night. The intention right now is to roll the other transfer and steam into the best 26 assets. I accept that this week is possibly not going to be the best for me. And A says, James, let's storm FPL Towers and demand the release of the fixtures. Cheers for your name. Son Ings or Salah Watkins? I'm going to say Son Ings. Adrash, good evening James. Have 2 FTs already have Bamford. Plan was to get Ings, Rafinha and Dallas for Antonio, Souček and Reece James from -4. If you're feeling it, mate, do it. FPL El Mencho, hi James, without the information, is wildcard before deadline a huge gamble? Cheers mate, great stream as always. Yes it is. Yes it is. It probably means you need to cancel out Fulham or Southampton in your thinking, unless your intention is to get rid of the Southampton players, but you're also going to want Leeds players this week, I think. And Leeds players probably take priority over Southampton players this week. So, listen, if you're that uncertain, I don't think you should be activating. Is the honest answer at this stage. Jonathan Albert, Antonio and Sterling to Kane and Rafinha this week, and then Rafinha out for Gundo next week. Yeah, sure, Jonathan, but are you going to be losing quite a bit on value on Gundogan to go back? Simon, thoughts on KDB on a wild card? A gamble, but I don't mind it. Darren Petterson, hi James, play Calvert-Lewin or Watkins? It's an either or, isn't it? Did I put Calvert-Lewin? on my graphic. If I didn't, I'm going to say him. Yes, I did. Watkins over Calvert-Lewin is on the benching graphic. As he said, do you think we're being overexposed to football at the moment? Are you worried about the burnout by them showing all of the fixtures? I miss groupings of games and less exposure. As it's a great question. Now's not the time for it with everybody's panicking about FPL. But yes, eventually when we get fans back to games, I'm sure we'll go back to 3 or 4 games at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Apex Sector, afternoon James. Who's your best captain choice for Saturday? Sky Fantasy Football. Best choice would be Mohamed Salah. I don't own him, so I'll likely be on Rudiger. Rishi says, hi James, is Dyer a good defender option for double game week 26? The one and only Lee. Hey boss, next week would you take Johnson out for another 4.5 keeper as part of a -4? Asking this week because of potential price rises and there are no keepers below 4.5 million worth it. This is a question for next week, mate, because I've got Johnson and Areola, and if either of them double in 26, then I'm just going to keep the one that does. If they both double, that's unlucky for me. In which case, I'd probably bench Johnston, or maybe even just sell him out of a single game week goalkeeper just out of fucking spite. FPL Hitman, hi James, bench 2, play 2, Lowton, Barnes, Antonio, Grealish. Feel like you're probably going to find all of them on the bench in dilemmas, mate. Just swap Lowton for me. Anthony Chung, Antonio to Ings, free transfer, then Ings to Kane -4 in 26. Or Antonio to Kane, I have 2 FTs and need to use 1. Cheers James and good luck. Do what I've done then. Antonio to Ings, free transfer, roll the other. Savant says, Sterling to Kane for free, to KDB free, worth it. I can't see KDB starting on Sunday. I don't think Man City need to take the risk to rush him. Savant says, choose 1 for this week. Rafinha captain and Ings or Rafinha and Bamford captain. Option 2. Vish said, is Antonio to Kane for -4 worth it? Thinking long term. Can't you just do it as a free transfer the week after? Denver CPT 786. Who will hurt more if not captain? Bruno or Bamford if you own? I think Bamford, actually. It obviously depends who scores the more points, but I'm going to be really surprised. We did a Patreon poll earlier of our patrons. I will tell you the result of that poll because it's interesting. I think it only kind of gives an understanding of kind of where the Twitter group think is at the moment, rather than obviously the general world. But I gave the guys 5 options. Bamford, Fernandes, Ings, Rafinha, Salah. Bamford had 67% of the vote, Rafinha 19%, Danny Ings 9%. Wasn't even anybody at all from my patrons who said that they were going to go for Bruno Fernandes as captain. Richard Smith, hi James, Sanchez or McCarthy is the second keeper until game week 31. Thanks. Depends who your other one is, right? Is your other one someone who's likely to double in 26? Are you not benching in 26? Depends. What do you need it for? For 29? For 26? If it's for 26, McCarthy most likely. Sanchez definitely won't double, but Sanchez definitely has a fixture in 29. So that's the only way I can answer that, Richard. Hola Stamos, do you know what Mourinho said on press conference that made Ben Crellin think that Fulham is more likely to get double game week than Southampton? Yeah. He said that he knew that Tottenham were going to have a rearranged fixture with Southampton, but didn't know when. That's literally it. And he joked about playing Aston Villa the day before the Carabao Cup final. I mean, he was taking the piss. He's just having a whinge about the fixtures. If anybody's reading too much into that, my goodness. Ray Qureshi, should there be no announcement, will you likely bring in Rafinha for Soucek? James, good luck, pal. My thinking, Ray, at the moment is no. A March says start Lowton or Soufal. A March replace me on the benching headache. Actually, you know what? Neither of them on a benching headache. I'll just answer that. Yeah, start Lowton, mate. Patrick Lawson. On wildcard, and we'll probably sell Bamford, Rafinha and Ings before 26 bench booth. Worth having Dallas this week if I'm going to sell him for a hit next week, probably for a Leicester defender. Patrick, that sounds like you're looking at -12s, mate, and I think a -12 is too much before you bench boost, mate. Steve Jones, James saw something which cannot be right. According to the Fulham official website, Harrison Reed is 5'11". I would have guessed 5'7" tops. I think that's a lie. Maybe Harrison Reed's done the editing on it himself. John Dean, evening James, hope you're well. Would you go for Areola on a wild card as a second bench boost keeper or Sanchez? John, same question as I answered for the previous question. I need to know what you're doing with that. Shifo said, hi James, I'm wildcarding now and bench boost in 26. Is it worth taking a -8 after the wildcard for 26, replacing Bruno, Rafinha, Bamford, KDB, Gundogan and Maja? In my opinion, no. FPL Irons, good luck for Sunday, mate. Have a good game week. Much love. Irons, good luck for Sunday. Fuck off, mate. Final Richie, Ben Davis or Dyer in the wild card. I'll go back to Tinker and enjoy the stream. Alan Holohan, DCL to Ings or save the free transfer. Not playing a chip next week if it helps. Cheers, James. If you're not playing a chip, I'd be inclined to go to Ings. But no, there's a good chance, Alan, that you're going to want to reverse that exact transfer next week. Adam says, hi, James. My plan bench is Stones, Watkins, Soufal. Do you agree or should I reorder? In that order, I would go Watkins first before Stones, personally. You know my opinion, I wouldn't leave forwards on the bench. Yologul, Richarlison to Kane, no-brainer. Seems straightforward. Patrick Lawson, best budget mid with a 26 double. Lookman, Jorginho. Don't know about Lookman, so I'm inclined to say Jorginho, Patrick. I know Ted at Rotation FPL, our Chelsea correspondent, is not keen on that at all. We spoke about it on COTC 8 days ago. I'm more keen on it than him. If it's part of a bench boost, I don't mind Jorginho as a shout as a fifth midfielder. Bossman525, what's the closest football club to where you live? The one on my hat, my friend. Louis Fine, technically it's Enfield Town Football Club, but otherwise it's Tottenham Hotspur. Louis Fine, hello Chesh. Who's Chesh? YG, hey, do you think it is worth -4 from Luton to Dallas? No. JK, is your decision on McCarthy over Pope purely based on fixtures? I don't see clean sheets in any Southampton fixtures this game week, but I do get your point of 2 versus 1. Good luck, boss. You got it, JK. It's 2 versus 1. And it's not like there's no chance of West Brom scoring tomorrow, right? Fulham just scored at Burnley. Ronick K, hi James, if you have triple City with Sterling, what would you do for next week? Also, thanks for all your help, especially with my DM last week. Would you start double City defence or dub Burnley? Always go City, mate, irrespective of fixture. And on Sterling, keep. I wouldn't do anything. Matthew D, up James, do you reckon Gundy plays or not at all? I to be honest, I'm a little bit fearful he's probably going to be a substitute. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not overly big on that. My bench looks quite strong this week, but I'm not actually overly enthusiastic about any of them, so I'd be gutted if the way I'm looking at it is I'd be more gutted if I left him out and then saw the team on Sunday and he was in the team. I'd be like, you're kidding. So I'm starting him. Patrick Lawson, Barnes or Maddison? He's Barnes for me. Bear in mind as well, could be going up against El Mohammadi on Sunday rather than Matty Cash. Matty Cash likely to be out for 3 to 4 weeks or so. Optimus Prime, what the fuck? Grealish is out. No, I didn't say Jack Grealish is out. What I said is there are strong rumours circulating on Twitter at the moment that Jack Grealish may have an injury. That's it. I don't know anything. Michael Lee, best Southampton... What I would say is you ain't buying him. Michael Lee, best Southampton midfield option, JWP, Armstrong or Minamino, thanks. If it's just a case of having someone in to potentially cover these doubles, my answer is James Ward-Prowse. Because he'll get at least 4 in all the double game weeks. 1 attack in return can boost him up into bonus points. So reluctantly Ward-Prowse. The best option generally, if you were asking me that and it wasn't doubles, I would say Armstrong at the moment. But I think because it's double season, I'm going to say Ward-Prowse. Nigel Sham, should I keep Gundo on a wild card? I would have bench cover for this week. I can get him in next week for a bench boost. Okay. Anton Frank on wild card, bench boost 26. Keep 3 Southampton or sub 1 for Fulham. Got 3 leads. I mean, Jesus, Anton, there's a good chance, right, that you're going to have 6 players there that are going to have single fixtures next week. Even just moving 1 Southampton to 1 Fulham is still going to mean possibly 5. Are you going too heavy on this week if you're that bothered about the bench boost? And to be honest, if you're going that heavy on Southampton and Leeds, I'd consider, I obviously can't see your bench and I'm not going to have the time to cover it now, but I'd consider bench boosting now. James on wildcard, pretty sure I'll go Grealish to Barnes on the back of these rumours. Smart move, it seems reasonable. Tom Renshaw, James, you're a saviour, saved my arse there. You're welcome, mate. Love you, pal. Tim Lum, evening, James. Got back home from looking after my mum for a week post-knee surgery, no question. I'm just going to quietly sort my FPL wildcard. Love to mum, mate. Richard Benson, sell 1 of Foden or Gundo for Rafinha. Would free up a City spot to get KDB later. We do know that Gundogan could actually play this week, right? I mean, when I say that out loud, Richard, it's fairly obvious, isn't it? Vish, would you go for Son Watkins or Ings Barnes on a wild card? I would be Son Watkins, mate. FPL Badger, I'm very short of funds. You expect Salisu to start for Saints? My instinct is not, Mark, but there have been some strong rumours circulating that Southampton have been playing around with a back 3 this week. They kind of finished the game against Wolves in that system. My instinct on that would be that if they go to a back three, it's still Stevens, Bednarek, and Vestergaard, isn't it? Over Salisu to suddenly throw him in, or did they buy him as a central defender who's not suitable in a back four? That's something we obviously don't have the answer to. I'd have to say my instinct on that, Mark, is no. I think in terms of if they play with a back four, I think Stevens will probably play right back or Ward-Prowse. I think probably more Stevens because Diallo is still out injured. If it's a back three, I think they would play Armstrong, Gineppo or Redmond at right wing back. That would be my thinking. Static says James to dunk from -4 and play him. Could use him in 29. Can't rely on James at the moment. I've Rudiger if I don't do the transfer. I don't think it's worth the -4, my friend. I mean, as a free transfer, no brainer. As a -4, nah, man. No, if he doesn't get an attacking return, you're looking at him getting the 6-pointer. So you're getting a 2-point net, and that's if James doesn't play. So I can't, mate. Jack Toner, my Burnley correspondent. How are you, mate? Wildcarded this week. Is Gundogan a must? I feel I've missed the boat. I wouldn't say he's a must, mate. No one's a must. No one's essential. No one thinks Ashley Barnes is essential, my friend. Super Tiger, hi James. Hope you have a good game week. Thank you. You too. Blue Nicks 99. Are there any Spurs defenders you like up to game week 29? Nope. Sergio Reguilon is likely to be back in Europa League next Thursday. He is a possible if he passes that with flying colours. Otherwise, no. Optimus Prime. Rashford to Son this game week. I have 2 transfers. I must make 1. Not this game week. No. Simenzo, hold Mitchell or sell for Stroik. Bench boost 26. Hold Mitchell. You could get lucky. Palace have been so bad the last couple that Mitchell might come back in. Jacob McGinty, 26 coming up with no chips or wildcards. Would selling Antonio and Salah and bringing in Kane and Son for a -4 be worthwhile? Be more worthwhile for free transfers next week, Jacob, is what I'd say about that. Liam H, start McCarthy or De Gea. I'm always going to pick the doubler, my friend. Shrinket says, James, do you see Cancelo preferred for Champions League and rested in Premier League? Play Edison for guaranteed clean sheets plus Diaz. Nah, I wouldn't read too much into that. If City go to beat Mönchengladbach 3 or 4-0 in a week, then City effectively don't have another Champions League game till around about, I want to say the midweek after game week 30. That's still quite a while away. So, no, I'm not read too much into that. Nigel Sam, is Pereira a good option on wildcard, James? If not, who's the best option from Leicester? He probably is him or Castagna. I feel they're both a little bit expensive. Don't have enough information on when Fofana's likely to return to have any faith in Evans or Siunshu, who are not likely to get many attacking returns either. You want one of the fullbacks. Justin's injuries open that up, so I would pay the extra. Luke Hopkinson, good luck, James. Thanks for all content. You're doing a fine job, my friend. Thank you, Luke. Garlic25, evening James, hope you're well. Do you think I should sell James and get a Brighton defender as I have no free hit or wild card, or sell Neto and get Rafinha? I'm about 1 million, so just want to rise rank. That really could have come out wrong there. Want to rise rank. Why do you want to rise rank? If you want to rise with your wank, get Rafinha. FPL Warrior, would you buy out of Taylor and Lowton for Burnley cover? Who would you buy? I'd actually go Taylor. He's back. He's fit. He's in the team. Just having a discussion with Steph and Tom, 2 of our patrons, about Taylor and Lowton a little bit. And I was trying to reassure him that Taylor's back in the team. The only way he comes back out now is injury. I'd actually go Charlie Taylor. He was the whole favourite with us for the long term a long time ago anyway. So that's the guy I'd go with. Ryan Walker, Areola versus McCarthy this week. I'm going to pick the doubler. Thoughts on triple captain on Watkins, game week 26? My thoughts are you won't be doing that if Jack Grealish is injured. Felix Wan, evening James, why Wan-Bissaka over me if you predict a clean sheet for Burnley but not for United? It's a very good question. And that's quite simply on the basis that I could be wrong. That's it. Yes, if you've seen on the predictions, I have a sneaky feeling that Newcastle may get a draw at Manchester United. But on common logic, not many people are going to agree with that opinion. So that is why I would have Wan-Bissaka there. Obviously, if you compare the 2 players as well, let's just say Man United went on 1 and won 4-0. Right, well, Wan-Bissaka's got a good potential for a clean sheet, isn't he? Burnley aren't going to win 4-0. So that's why Wan-Bissaka's still above him on the bench in dilemmas. But good question. Sheila J-Raj, DCL to Ings with free transfers, a 1-week punt, and get Kane in game week 26 with cash in the bank or roll free transfer. My other 2 forwards are Watkins, Bamford. This will go for everybody. If you don't know what you're doing and you're really, really unsure, do what I'm doing. Roll the transfer. FPL Warrior on wildcard. Is it silly to put Rafinha in for this game week, planning to move for Barnes for a hit next week? Nah, don't think so. It's fine if you're happy to do that. Callum Helm says, is Rafinha a must this week? Sending me pictures of tennis rackets and balls for some reason. No one's a must ever in this game. No one's compulsory. I see FPL, the FPL account earlier, quoted a little bit from their podcast the other day and put, he's Sterling essential. Fuck off. Savanch says, Grealish to Maddison -4. No, if you've got a good bench, Savanch, you'd be better off reassessing that next week. And CJ, hi James, hope you're well. Do you think it's a good idea to sell Cavani for Ings? Thanks, James. Yes, I do. Jigs John, now that we don't have fixture announcement for 26, is it worth a -8 hit for Ings? Thanks, James. No, it's even more reason not to do it, in my opinion. Super Tiger decided to go high differential with double Leeds defence. Reckon Meslier is the highest scorer this game week. Those save points are coming. Listen, I don't mind that thinking. Anybody know was the highest scoring player last week? Anybody know? No. Ola Aina of Fulham, 20 points. At the start of the week, I wouldn't have even predicted him to play. DC, should I use my 2 FTs to get Ings and Rafinha and go without Kane for 26? Or prioritise getting Kane and skip double game with 25? No spare cash to get Harry later. I take it you're looking to move from like 4.5 to Rafinha or something then? Is that part of the problem? Can you not go Ings to Kane next week if Ings doesn't have the double? It's okay to take hits next week, guys. Like, really, really is. Encyclopedia Singh. Hey, James, would you play DCL, TAA or a City defender? Can only play one. DCL. Scored at Tottenham first day of the season. Got a goal and assist at Old Trafford the other week. I mean, Liverpool look amazing defensively, don't they? I played DCL, mate. Mudfires. Antonio to Kane or Ings plus for double game week 26. Look. If I advise you Ings, there's a good chance you're going to end up going Ings to Kane next week. That's all you have to understand as part of that. Johannes says, hello James, are 2 playing goalkeepers a must? Who do you think is the best pair? No, not necessarily. You can obviously get someone that will carry you through 26, 29. Best example of that is highly likely to be Emi Martinez. Patrick Lawson, need 2 midfielders around 7 million or less who would double next week. Might not do transfer yet. Would you go Barnes and Maddison or someone else instead of one of them? I would go Barnes over Maddison at the moment. In terms of cheaper, to be honest, if anything, I'd rather than having sort of, you're saying 7 million or less. I mean, can you have one that's 8 and one that's 5, for example? Give that some thought, Patrick. But I would go Barnes over Maddison, and yes, they're reasonable shouts. Oliver Render, are we overlooking Vestergaard, doubles, leads, corner issues, potential double, and then brilliant fixtures? I don't think it's a case of anyone's overlooking. I think there's a reasonable expectation that Southampton probably won't keep a clean sheet this week. So, if you said to me right now, would you rather a clean sheet or the goal? I'd take the clean sheet. You get bonus with a clean sheet, right? So, yes, there is a good chance that a Vestergaard or a Bednarek or Stevens, if they all play, could all potentially score against Leeds in midweek. I predict that to be the highest scoring game of the game week. I don't think it's a case of overlooking. For me personally, I ain't taking a -4 for someone like that. Ben Baker, evening James. Thanks to Cricketer and Tom Hyun for the work you're doing there, guys. Cheers, guys. Ben Baker, evening James. Who would you bench out of Foden and Cancelo? Foden, probably. Alejandro Perez, hey James, I'm on wildcard. Should I bring in Kane now alongside Ings and then swap Ings to Watkins? With the Grealish concern, you're probably better off not buying the Villa player at the moment. It is 6 o'clock on my time, guys. There is a good chance at this stage, guys, if you are answering a question, there are a lot of people in the stream at the moment, over 500. If you're answering a question now, I would say it's highly likely, unfortunately, that I'm probably not going to get you covered. The Premier League have just sent a tweet out about racism, no room for racism, and that suggests to me that there will be no fixtures before deadline. I think we can probably lock that in now. Steve Grenwell, James, appreciate the hard work. No fixtures, what a laugh. That is all. Cheers, pal. Josh Shah, related to Suj, probably not. Mitchell to Struijk for a hit and start over a City defender. No guarantee Struijk even stays in the team. Remember, Llorente's back for Leeds this week. Phillips could be back. He's not going to play tonight, but he could be back on Tuesday. I can't recommend that. Elsie Stebbs, do you reckon it's worth taking a 4-point heat for Saka out and Rafinha in? Yeah, I don't mind that. That seems... I like Saka as an asset, absolutely, but I can't argue that one. James C. So do we think Fulham Spurs is more likely now in game week 26? Only because the ugly DM that Dougal sent me. But I'll maintain my stance. I'm not going to change it on one DM that I think Tottenham Southampton is slightly more likely than Tottenham Fulham. Sanjay Babu, Redmond or Minamino? If you listen to FPL Gaffer on our People's Poll podcast on Monday, our Southampton correspondent, he would advise to go nowhere near Redmond. So by default, Minamino. Nathaniel Chapman, I'm on a wild card to bench boost in 26. If Grealish is indeed injured long term, do you think his absence means it's worth sacking off other Villa attacking assets? It might be, we don't know yet. But that someone like El Ghazi is going to come in. They're not going to be a bad team. It could be that Ross Barkley steps out the shadow a little bit. Ben Miller says, but James, how did you do in the cup? I love you, Ben. I did as well in the cup last week as I did the week before, mate. Happy Dude Geneva, Dunk, White or Morpay. If you can afford Dunk and it doesn't give you any issues for future transfers, just go for Dunk, mate. Gatum says, should I keep Sterling? You can ask a question like that. Who are you buying? So I'm just going to say yes. Andrew Squire, triple captain Bamford if you plan to wildcard next week. Yeah, possible. There's obviously the potential of something else for Harry Kane beyond 26, and also the prospect of something else for Calvert-Lewin and Watkins as well, but that could be it. So if you've got a strong feeling for it, I don't mind it. To be honest with you, I'm not overly big on Bamford going mental this week. If you ask me now, what do I think he does this week, I'll say to you, I think he scores once in the 2 games. Is that enough faith to have triple captaincy? No, I think you probably want to feel like your player is going to score 2 or more. So for me, it would be a no. I would wait on the prospect of something else personally. ITZ L3 Rad X. Hi James, looking forward to double game at 26. Do you prefer the pair of Reguilon and Rudiger or Shaw on target? Shaw on target, mate. Sonny M, Rafinha or Ings? Well, I've bought Danny Ings and I haven't bought Rafinha. Excuse me, Dennis, a Maximoff, benching headache, Maddison or Kane. By the way, I do really want to buy Rafinha instead of Souček. I do. But I just feel I've got more power in the extra free transfer for 26, particularly without the information. Dennis Maximoff, benching headache, Maddison or Kane. Come on, man. Zubin Moidu, what's your opinion on triple captain Bamford? Just covered that one. Avis, hi James, on the COTC Andy was mentioning Lee's struggle against free at the back, so Bamford plays 2 matches of free at the back defence with Southampton also maybe reverting to that. Is Bamford still a good captain option? Yes, of course he is. Mudfaiz, Antonio or Kane or Ings plus for double game week 26. I feel like I've done that one. But if you're 26 thinking, then Kane. BW, apologies if we're asked already. Start or bench, Cancelo, Cavani, Gundo. Brutal, mate. If Cavani starts, you'll want him in the team more than the other 2. Let me put it that way. Amber Redmond, I'm only here to see how calm you stay. I'm all good, Amber. Thanks, mate. Natasha says, good evening, James. Thought about Ings to Antonio, but then decided to get Kane a week earlier. Southampton's fixture against Chelsea worried me. Have a good game week. Good luck to you too, mate. Bogdan Russ, would you transfer in Harry Kane for Antonio this week? I don't have any Spurs players. No, I'm rolling a free transfer as it stands. Richard Smith, Vestergaard or Rudiger for bench boost in 26. Chelsea definitely double, but tough fixtures. Need to move to this week, but also play Vestergaard. Well, look, you do get the double Vestergaard this week, so you could get the double bubble Brucey bonus on that. But if you're asking me specifically for 26, I have to say Rudiger. Thomas Conroy, thoughts on Vardy as part of a front 3 with Watkins and Kane for game week 26 and beyond? Yep, like that. I think there's every chance for a lot of people overlooking Leicester because of their lack of a 29 fixture in comparison to Watkins, Kane, plus the potential of a further double for Calvert-Lewin. I quite like that as a front 3. Just going to struggle a little bit for... You're definitely not going to have more than 2 of Bruno, Son and Salah. That's all you have to bear in mind. And you might struggle to have 2 of them. MD Mehedi says, I have Richarlison, Cancelo and Aspi on bench. Should I use bench boost? It's not the worst. He could easily score well. I would say to you on that, Mehedi, because you've got a goalkeeper as well, right? So unless your goalkeeper's like Fraser Forster or something, in which case I'm going to say no. You think that bench should get you 16 points or more, do it. particularly if you haven't taken any hits this week. Barry P, ditch Cavani or Antonio for Ings this week. It's not an easy one. It's not an easy one. I think Antonio will play. My instinct is United possibly won't take the chance with Cavani. That's where I'm at, but I don't know Cavani's injury status other than he remains a doubt. I'm pretty sure that West Ham will risk Antonio in their biggest game of the season at the weekend. So it would reluctantly, Barry B, sell Cavani. But then Cavani's got the double in 26. If you're planning to bench boost, you've got to do that the other way, really. Patrick Lawson, which Leicester defender would you rather own? Oh, it's not easy. It's a covered. Pereira or Castagna, I think you can toss a coin. I would prefer Pereira if money is no object. Jaden Boy 29, hi mate, already taken a -4 to get in Bamford and Ings for Cavani and Antonio. My question is, would you take another -4 to do Burke to Rafinha? Thanks, Dan. Thought you were Jaden. Or you could be J-Dan. Dan for short for J-Dan. Yeah, rather than just calling me Jan. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. I mean, listen, you're going to make that back up in appearance points, but presumably you're leaving someone else on the bench. So what you have to factor in is who are you leaving on the bench instead, because that's the effective -4. Just consider that. But on the face of it, Bert to Rafinha -4, yes, of course. Garlic 25, think I should sell James to a Brighton defender or someone else? Question. Or Neto to Rafinha. I only have triple captain left and want to climb rank from 1 million. Thanks. Have a good weekend. I think Brighton are a really good pick for those not bench boosting next week. So, yeah, reasonable. If you can afford Duncan, it doesn't hurt you. Yeah, absolutely fine. Stian Bosdale did Grealish to Rafinha just now, but I also want to go Soufal to Dallas for a hit. But I don't know who to move to in 26 to get a double game week player alongside Cancelo and Dean. We can make that decision next week, mate. Is it worth the -4? Probably. You need an attacking return from it, I think. Tough. I wouldn't have considered it personally. Another Hoops. Good luck this week, mate. I'm only here for the bad Optimus Prime impersonation. Enver Selic, Rafinha for Souček for a -4 hit and benching DCL. I'm not doing Rafinha in for Souček for free, so I'm going to have to say no on that basis, mate. No. Double checks Premier League website to make sure. No. Nothing new from these bastards. It's not coming, guys. It's not coming. Dane Ahmed, Stones higher goal threat in set pieces than Diaz. No, I don't particularly agree with that, actually. I'd rate them probably the same. It might feel that way because Stones' couple against Palace and the disallowed goal Stones had at Liverpool. But remember, Stones' second goal, it was Diaz's effort originally that was saved, came back to Stones and he scored. I don't think there's a lot between them. I think Rodri is the biggest threat above both of them from actual set pieces. Christopher GB, what to do with Dean? Careful because you spelt that wrong. I'm going to presume you mean Luca Dean rather than Mbaye Diagne of West Bromwich Albion. The answer is most likely bench this week and keep. Rick has Rummy. I have Souček and Maddison and 6.2 million in the bank. Should I take a -4 for someone better? No. Because you don't know who you want. FPL family, my friends, Lee and Sam. Gonna guess that's Lee. Hello, guys. What the fuck has happened to your team, Lee? Evening, James. My rival was bought in Kane this week. Should she captain him? Cheers, mate. Good luck this game week. Just lie to her, mate. No, she should not be captaining Harry Kane. Give Sam my regards. Hope you both well. Hope the kids are good. Dean Munawar. Hi, James. Love your content. Always a pleasure being here. Thank you, mate. FPL Warrior. Why which one out of Vardy and Salah on wildcard? Bench boost 26. I'd still favour Salah, personally. T-Tac, would you start me, Lookman or Stones? And would you start Areola or Johnston? Areola over Johnston. As per my team, that's what I've done. And I would go Stones, me, Lookman, that order. FPL Warrior, bench Charlie Taylor or Stones? I can't be benching Man City players. Just generally speaking, who wants to do that at the moment? Jack Bones, I think it's time I got behind your Jack Bones. Tell her you are captaining Kane and go with KDB. Best tactic. That's the FPL family. FPL Alex the Kid, also Souček to Rafinha for -4. We've done that. Or Barnes to Ings -4. Or neither. Only Bamford and Dallas of the double. It's a neither. It's a neither for me. Dean Manuel says, got awesome news. I don't know what it's for. It's probably ages ago. Sunny M. Hi James, thoughts on triple captain Bamford? Hold the ship. I have covered that. You've most probably heard. Duzatelli, Neves, can he be the answer to my wildcard bench boost 26? If he's the answer, what the fuck is the question? Oh, you've put 27. I think Wolves will double in 26, not 27. Steve Grenwell, what teams do you believe to be moving toward form and moving away from it? Thanks, James. Good luck this game week. What teams do you believe to be moving toward form and moving away from it? Thanks, James. We've got concerns about Southampton, Aston Villa are two of the teams we want to target most at the moment. Teams coming into form. Spurs going to go mental, aren't they? We're going to win like 6 in a row or something. Arsenal, but it's tough fixture run. Ahmed Bark, should I bring in Ings instead of DCL? Already have Bamford and Dallas. Yes, you can, but as I've said to others, there's a chance that you're going to want to reverse that next week. Jason Stilling, start Cancelo or Stones? Cancelo, my friend. FPL Alex the Kid, does the tick mean start, not bench? Yes, if you're looking at the benching dilemma screen, the green tick indicates that between the two chosen players, that is the player that I would start. There's a little bit of common sense in the fact that the player next that is then the tick for the next one, and then so on. I would have thought, but hey. Zaris said, should I take also Dallas or a Southampton defender? I have one more free transfer. Just took Rafinha. Greetings from Greece. We love you here. I love Greece as well, Zaris. Except for this one time I went on holiday there and I went to this beautiful restaurant and then I saw a rat running above my head. Misses it. What are you looking at? Not sure I want to tell you, babe. But we do love Greece. What's the fucking question? Should I take also Dallas or a Southampton defender? Southampton defender, because you might get the 26 double and you get another one in 27 probably against Man City. Thanks again to FPL Cricket and Tom Hyom, love you guys. RD Hale, would you sell out of Grealish and Souček from current knowledge? If you got a bench, I wouldn't do anything yet, but based on rumours it's probably in fact it's not. If I had to sell one of those two players now, I'd sell Souček. Ben, hey James, 1, what's your rank? 350,000. 2, your Spurs manager. You sold Kane and Son. You can spend big, but it has to be on 4 of these players. DCL, Richarlison, Martial, Rashford. Who are you taking? None of them. I'd resign. Rashford and Calvert-Lewin. Apex Spectre, I think the best triple captain as it stands is Kane's Son, game week 26. RD Hale, which of Cavani or Antonio would you sell to Ings? We've done this one. Praise Son or Gundog to start. Both, but don't leave your Ming Son out, seriously. Ben AU, it was a really nice question, just once though, please mate, thank you. Aman Mosso, will Gundogan play? Calling Pep. Who knows, mate? Who knows? FPOX the Kid, McCarthy is then, hopefully he gets a pen save. JM, should I play the bench boost for Martinez, Gundogan, Cancelo and Lowton? That's bad because of Gundogan sitting there and the unknown on if he'll play or not. I'd want to. That's great, really. But to be honest, I don't think you can. I don't think you can because it might just be Martinez and Lowton. So unfortunately, I don't think you can. I'm King Kendall, best FPL streamer in the game, deserves so much more viewers. Hope you smash your game week, but 1 point less than me, of course. Thanks very much. The king of streaming is Andy from Let's Talk, just so you know. Aiden says Rafinha in for Madders, then bring in another Leicester mid for the double game week. Denson, Danny, should I do a -4 for Rafinha or Harrison? And for whom? Grealish, Rashford. I think the majority of us have identified we'd all prefer Rafinha over Harrison, so do expect Harrison to outscore Rafinha. Moody says, hey James, want me to put my eyeliner on? Gundog or Cancelo? Good luck. I'd play Gundog, but I also wouldn't be leaving Cancelo out. So if that's the question. If I was buying one now, it would be Cancelo. Adeem Munawar, Antonio, Richarlison, Sterling to Bamford, Ings, Harrison worth a -8. Already have Rafinha, Adams will wildcard next week. The fact that you're wildcarding makes me a bit more interested. It's a close one. But to be honest, you only need one of Antonio, Richarlison or Sterling to do well, and it's not going to work, I don't think. Antonio Richarlison Sterling to Bamford Ings Harrison worth a -8. You need to factor in who you put in the armband. I presume you are on a Bamford or Ings if you're doing that. So effectively, the appearance points, if you captain one of them, cancels out the hit. Then you need them to outscore the other three. The answer is probably yes, Adeem, but that could go wrong. Alexander, good question. Alexander says, hey, do you know if Grealish is out? Go for Leeds defender Rafinha in. I got Bamford. No, I don't know, mate. FPL Alex the Kid. Rafinha in for Souček -4. And bench Watkins or Ashley Barnes to Ings -4. Could do one more double game week player. Only have 3. James or anyone in the chat. James is here. And James says Ashley Barnes just returned in the last game, so he probably won't return in this one. I'd been Ashley Barnes personally. That would probably be the thinking. Is that one of the forwards you want for double game week 26 in any case? Yeah, I'd been Ashley Barnes, mate. Brandon Madrano, would you sell Adams or Antonio for Ings? I would sell Antonio this week, but there's a good chance that you'll land on 26. And if Southampton ain't got a double, you are not going to like that. Mind you, you wouldn't like it with Antonio and Ings either. Vas Felix, Pope or Sanchez? That's a good question. I would go Pope because of Pope's potential. I mean, I'm predicting clean sheets for both. Pope's potential to be a 9 or 10 pointer is greater than Sanchez, so it would have to be Pope. Plus, you factor in the ownership numbers as well. Andrew Tavy, if you predict Southampton to score 4 and Leeds to score 3, why captain Bamford? Good question. I'll answer. So if I don't captain Patrick Bamford this week, I'm going to want him to fail. His effective ownership is likely to be over 100%. The only way for him to help me towards Green Arrow is to captain him. It is actually as simple as that. So then I can have Bamford as captain. His returns are good for me. And I can also have Danny Ings. And he's a differential. His returns will be good for me. That's why the armband is on Patrick Bamford. That's why I believe he's the best choice for, to be honest, anybody who has him. He's the safest play. There's a massive temptation if you're sitting there with a Bamford and Rafinha or Bamford and Ings to go, oh, I want to go for the differential. But let me tell you, once the game week starts and you start looking at live FPL net and stuff, there's a good chance you're going to go, oh shit, I got Patrick Bamford for 2 games and I don't want him to score. That's why Patrick Bamford is my captain this week. Pedro Rouse, hi James, Johnson or Martinez, game week 25, not in dilemmas, question, thanks, have a good weekend. I would go Martinez, mate. To be honest, the 5 goalkeepers that I've put in that list, I would put Johnston after Martinez. I've gone with the 5 that I thought would be, I guess there's someone out there who might have Meslier and McCarthy and is not bench boosting. That's why I put Meslier and McCarthy in there. Slightly favour Meslier, even though again, I think Leeds will probably concede. What have I predicted? I've predicted them both to concede 4, but Meslier, the potential of obviously them save points just edges it for him. I don't think either are going to do great, but it's a double. You've got to go with them. Johnston, I would put after all the 5 keepers on the bench in dilemma screen. Mirza Kurej says Gundo and Antonio out for Rafinha and Ings -4. Thanks. I don't hate it, but you definitely want a Man City player next week. That's all I'm going to warn you about, and you need to make sure you've got that money available to do it. Azra, there's a chance it will be Gundogan who you want. Azra says me to Dallas for a -4. Already have Pope. That would be worthwhile. You've got to get Dallas in double points. Dallas could easily be 2 or 3 points this week. David Fernandez, Ings in, Cavani or DCL out. Remove Cavani at the moment for me. Lalu Tree, Ings or Watkins to navigate till 29. To navigate, it's probably Ings now and Watkins next week. If it's just one, I'm going to say Ings. But that could so easily be Watkins if the fixtures fall in a certain way. It's a difficult one. John Harris, Vardy over Kane over the next few game weeks as I'm chasing rank. It's okay. Yeah, don't mind that, John. FPL Warrior, great stream. Hit like, subscribe and all that jazz. Thanks, FPL Warrior. Yeah, if you're enjoying the stream, hit the like button. If you want to press subscribe, hit subscribe. Helps me and all that and shares the love and means more people can find the stream and helps pay the bills and feed my kid. Jay Barker, play TAA or DCL. Sorry if already been asked. Thanks, James. You're okay, my friend. I'm going to say play DCL. Whoever thought I would say that. Saeed Hassan, De Gea or Martinez? Logic says De Gea, to be honest. Odran says bench McCarthy or Martinez. That's on the benching dilemmas. We've done better with the benching dilemmas this week, I think, guys. Well done, thank you. Lalu says, should I save my wildcard for 30 plus? I mean, I'm going to, Lalu, but how you expect me to answer that question without knowing your team? How can I possibly give you an answer? Don't put your team in the chat, please. OC1101, start Watkins or Luke Shaw. That'll be Watkins. Oh, Tom Hyom said, new questions won't be answered by James at this point before deadline. Sorry, guys. Beat your blood. 7 minutes to go. Rohan says, Grealish or Gundo? Oh, man. Gundo. I have got Gundogan over Grealish on the benching dilemma. If you just diverted your eyes that way of it. JF, feel like the Prem are pulling a pep with this fixture announcement. It's coming at half 6, isn't it? FPL Hitman, everyone here like and subscribe, do your bit. Cheers, my friend. David Jones, salt and vinegar, cheese and onions, salt and vinegar all day long. Pedro Rouse, a last one for game week 26. Which one? Robbo, Antonio out, Cancelo, Kane, triple captain in. Pedro, I'm really fucking sorry, mate. There's too much going on there, mate. Good luck, though, mate. JF, shall I pull the trigger for wildcard this week? How can I answer that when I don't know what your team is? Usnipez, Luke Shaw or Wan-Bissaka? Wan-Bissaka for me. Just to be controversial. Envasilic, Areola or Martinez in goal? Areola for me, mates, on the benching dilemmas. As soon as I praised everyone, there's benching dilemmas questions. Shivan says, is Gundogan playing for sure? Yeah. I'm picking the team, mate. Yeah, for sure he's playing. I never get these questions, seriously. Aero Sponsable. Thanks for putting your whole team in. There is no chance of me reading that shit. You don't have to like the United predictions, Shivan, but I thought I'd stick one in that's not boring this week. I do fancy that Newcastle's diamond could give United some problems. Listen, obviously, in most cases, Manchester United will win the game, but I've just got a sneaky feeling, and I'd rather just not be boring all the time. Danny Martinez, Ings in for Watkins or Antonio for a -4. Ings for Antonio could play great if they have the double in 26. All about the Rents, McCarthy or Pope. I'm going to say the doubler, mate. David Fernandez, Ings in for Cavani or DCL. Must have done this one already. Not necessarily for you specifically, David, but I must have covered it. Jacob says, hi James, bench DCL or Shaw. It'll be Shaw. Notorious Nerd, bench Cancelo or Stones. Stones, bench DCL or Grealish. You know the answers to these, Notorious Nerd. I'm not sure why you even put them in the chat. Love you, mate. Rowan Balani, hey James, would you start Grealish or Gundo if you can only pick one? Gundo. It's on the benching dilemmas. Stian says, go back to my Harry Q. If you're staying after the deadline, fathers love to talk about their... Just put it in at exactly 6:30, Stian. Put it in again because I have no idea where it is, mate. Static says to someone else, no problem. Sunshine, nice name. Popo or Edison, who should I play? Popo. I know, it's a slip of the spell. Edison. The fuck leaving the City guy out at the moment, honestly. Adeem Mumwa, it might not turn out great, but I think I'll take -8 captain Sterling last week. It didn't turn out great, did it? Lol. No probs, Rohan. Peter Latjai, wildcard question. Dunk or Adebayo as last defender in case of next week bench boost. No info about Fulham double. No, there is no info about Fulham. Although I had a DM that suggested to me that Fulham may well have a double next week. I still just slightly favour Southampton, but one way or the other, Peter, Dunk isn't going to have one. So the answer to your question is Adebayo. Lalo, is Aston Villa attack still essential? Was it ever essential? Stop with this essential bollocks. You're on the wrong stream. Someone whose name I can't read. Thanks for all the great content you constantly put on, mate. Legends. Appreciate that, mate. I'm sorry that I can't pronounce your name. Apologies. Ross Logan, Struik or Dallas for a hit? Nipois. Z21293 was set on taking -4 for Ings. I make it 3 minutes to deadline, guys. Was set on taking -4 for Ings. Rolling now. Triple leads for game week 25. Hope they do the job. I wish you luck. About 3.5 minutes actually to deadline, guys. FPL Hitman, what do you think? Who do you think wins Leicester versus Villa? Come on, Hitman, my man. I got correct score predictions on the screen there, mate. Antonino, Gitto, Edison and White, or Martinez and Diaz. Martinez and Diaz. Enver Selic, when is Jose Mourinho getting the sack? October. Ben Taylor, bench Grealish or Lookman. Static, Rudiger or James. Play Rudiger. Hendy Penf Prumpy. DCL or Cresswell, first sub. DCL. Oh my god, I've actually completed all the questions. Don Alejandro Perez, should I get in 2 playing goalkeeper? Thinking of Areola and McCarthy or Sanchez. Thoughts? Well, the beauty of Areola and McCarthy as a combination, if someone's on a wild card now, one of them will double in 26. I can't tell you which one, but one of them will. And if you're not bench boosting, although probably is, if you're wild carding, you probably want 2 that's going to bench boost. But one of them definitely will. David Jones says, time to sell Salah. Could be, but it depends who you're buying and whatnots. Jackins 8, start Taylor or Stones. I'm always going to say the City guy. David Fernandez, thanks James. Good luck with the game with you too, my friend. Sunshine says, Harrison for Gundo or Grealish. No, it'd have to be Grealish based on the rumours, but I mean, if it's false, I can't be advising you that. So it's just a no. JF says Burn or Cancelo. A Batsios, drink some water, mate. One for the champ man, guys. Cilantro. Francis Logan, have you heard of the Grealish injury? No, not mentioned it at all, mate. Cheers, Francis. I see what you did there. Javinho99, bench Cavani or mate. Zach Twyman, Mike Captain Winks, thoughts, triple it, mate. Static, I'm playing Pope ahead of McCarthy. Can you talk me out of it, please? No, if that's what you want to do. Other than I would go to doubler because of the potential of the massive score. Can Pope outscore McCarthy this week? Yeah, of course he can. FPL Warrior on fire this evening, James. Cheers, pal. Akil ready. Harrison versus Rafinha. Harrison's been good form too. He has, but everyone else going Rafinha. So I'll probably go Harrison. Tom Campbell, my good buddy. Hope you're well. Hey, James. How's your little lad getting on? He's very well. Thank you, Tom. Doing great. Hope everything's okay your end. Jacob17. Nado's order. I ain't had Nando's for ages, mate. FPL Warrior. Do you prefer Barnes or DCL for 26 if you could only have one? DCL. I knew you meant Nando's. See, I'm all over it, Jacob. Oliver Render, good luck, James. I make it in terms of clock to deadline, guys. About 40 seconds. Get those teams locked in. Actually, do you know what? I think I just fucking double check mine as it goes. Fantasy Premier League. Oh, no, that's not my team. Let's log out. Shall I make a last minute transfer? What do you reckon, guys? Something that I regularly do. Nah. Why am I checking? I never check. Why have I felt the need to check? Remember that one time I checked and it was on Lacazette? Why was it on Lacazette? Nah. It's the same team as on the screen, oddly enough. The one and only Lee. Who you playing on triple captain? I was thinking Watkins is going to be Kane 26 for me. Matthew, who to play? DCL Stones, Diaz, Rudiger. They're probably on the bench in dilemmas. Just exchange Stones for Diaz. Luis Rolanio, Gator or Martinez. Do not be getting Vicente Gator, mate. Harshal Patel, want a wild card in 26. What to do with one free transfer? Buy someone who's got a double, mate. FBL Hitman says, Salancha, Static, thanks for everything, James. Hope the family is well. And to you. Ben Ayu, Sun or Suchek? Sun. Lalu, Tree, Cancelo and Stones start. Who knows? Lunch, probably yes. Sunshine says, thanks for the advice. Love your streamers. As a rival fan, hats off. Cheers. Alejandro Perez, thanks for all the responses. I'm benching Gundo over Bruno, Sun, Salah, Rafinha, Kane, Bamford and Ings. Good luck, buddy. That's a big bench you've got, mate. Full-time talk. Thanks, James. Dean Bosdale says, deadline. Jacob17, could you see West Ham beating your lads? It's a good place to start and say if anybody's got any non-FPL questions, I'm happy to hang around for the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. No more FPL questions, please, unless the fixtures have dropped at 6:30, which would be amazing. Just for the jokes. No, there's no update from the Premier League. Sorry, guys. Yes, of course I can. We spoke about it a lot on our Patreon pods, the differential show that we did this morning. We always do predictions for all the games on on a Friday morning. We've both gone for 1-1 because we both just shit ourselves, basically. But I said to Suj that I thought if Antonio didn't play, I fancied us possibly to win. Now, it looks like, obviously, Antonio is going to play. So, I'd go 1-1. But can I see them beating us? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the moment, they're a better team than us. So, yes. If you look at the bookies' odds, you've basically got the teams equal. So, even they don't know. So, it could go either way. David Jones, good luck to you on Sunday, mate. Pedreg Donnelly and Brave. Niels Appel says, lock, stock and two smoking barrels, train spotting or snatch. Good luck all, and remember, look at those benching dilemmas first. Lock, stock for me. Javinio99, thanks for the stream, James. Loving the graphics and all of yours and Suj's Planet FPL content. Keep up the good work. Much appreciated. I didn't shout FPL Captain, did I? My man on the graphics, he's here somewhere, roughly, just above the singular icon. Singular is part of the graphics. FPL Captain runs them through. Do give him a follow on Twitter. He's an absolute superstar. I pointed the wrong way, didn't I? I should have gone that way. Lovely bloke. Give him a follow on Twitter. He's top man. He was ready if the fixtures dropped and I wanted to change the team. He was ready to upload some new data. He's absolutely brilliant. Thanks for your time, Chris. Enjoy your weekend. Go and relax, mate. Beers will be on the way. Vegard says, James' favourite beer. I do like the Brewdogs, to be honest. I hardly drink these days. I covered for a Champ Man stream about a month or so ago, and I had 2 beers, and they're the only beers I've had since August the 8th when I stopped doing the Champ Man streams. So, to be honest, if I went out now and had 3 pints, I'd be fucking ruined, to be honest. But yeah, I do like the Brewdogs. They were good for me last summer. They weren't good for me, but you know what I mean. Stian said, has Harry had the pleasure of the footy yet? As in, have I taken him? Well, no, he's 27 months, mate, and I haven't been for over a year. Well, actually, it's not over a year, is it? It's 11 months. It's coming up to, I think, 2 weeks, and it's in exactly a year, I think, unfortunately, which is going to be a sad day. No, he doesn't understand what's going on. He whinges a bit when I'm watching it and stuff. He was quite well behaved last night. He's only interested in cars and shit at the moment. Apparently, when I was a kid, I was exactly the same, and my dad was worried that I would never particularly get interested in it, and then suddenly I just was. And that'll happen. You know, we'll dangle his feet out the window and we'll take his toys away and tell him that he's got to be Tottenham, and that'll be fine. Cheers, Hitman. Pierce McGrandy, thanks Premier League for wasting 2 hours of my life. How hard is it to release fixtures? Well, obviously quite difficult. Ray Guna, what do you make of the job Arteta is doing so far at Arsenal, mate? Very good. Very good. I think you had a touch not sacking him. I really do. I think he needs patience and a lot of time. No way the fixtures just dropped. The fixtures have just dropped. I can see someone saying Tottenham's fixture is Fulham. Wow. That is incredible. Right, let's see what we got. The page is going to be too busy at the moment, isn't it? Someone will have it on the Patreon Slack. I know they will. Unbelievable. That is incredible. Wow. Fixtures announced. Dougal was well done, Dougal, by the way, if you're still about. So it looks like no double game week for Southampton in 26. That is unreal trolling. Let's see if we can get on the Premier League website because it was too busy. And we'll see if me and Ben Crellin and all the guys were completely wrong. Ben was definitely right in terms of his instinct that it would be Fulham for Tottenham. Let's see what we've got. So, confirmed double game. In fact, let's not go down. Let's go to Premier League home. That's probably the best place to go, isn't it? UK broadcasts for selections for March. So there's 7 fixtures in all. That's the good news. There's more teams doubling than we expected. So West Brom and Everton is in there. Sheffield United and Villa's in there. Fulham and Spurs is in there. The rest of it was correct. So that's what it was always the case, guys. In terms of all this stressing, it was always going to be Fulham or Southampton. And do West Brom and Sheffield United have a double or not? And now we have the answer. So there's not anything in there we didn't expect. The 6 teams, I mean, the the 8 teams really that we were fairly certain of: City, Wolves, Burnley, Leicester, Palace, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, have all the games that we expected. Spurs play Fulham rather than Southampton, and Everton and Villa play West Brom and Sheffield United respectively, rather than cheers Dougal. I was right not to put people in a panic though, my friend, on one tweet. But well done, my friend. It's as expected. There's nothing shocking. The good news is that everything we definitely expected is in there. So that's fine. Have we got anything more in terms of a 27 or 28? I'm going to guess that we don't. I'm just going to have a scan through. So Man City, Southampton also, as we expected, confirmed for game week 27. And for the blank game week, and that's important for Sky particularly, Fulham and Leeds confirmed as a Friday night, but no confirmation on potential of game week 28 or anything like that. Which I didn't expect to come now in any case anyway, even if that does happen. I think you should still bear that in mind as a possibility. It would be easier for them actually to do that now because it's only one game for them to rearrange, which should be Villa and Everton against each other. Right, let's have a look at some of the questions. That's so brilliant. Unbelievable. Francis Logan, hopefully Spurs play Rangers in Europa League and win, please. Celtic fan. I did have to laugh at the incredible result for Rangers as it was being sold on the media last night against Royal Antwerp, who did manage to beat Tottenham in the group stage, but they're fucking awful. And they were 3-2 down with about 10 minutes to go until Antwerp had a player sent off. But they're doing really well, Rangers, in fairness. Sorry, you don't want to hear that. Stian says, does he get to choose what team to root for? He's welcome at Chelsea. Blue is a nice colour on kids. Yeah, but navy blue's better, mate. No, he doesn't get a choice, mate. Thank you, Pierce McGrandle. If you did enjoy the stream, obviously drop the stream and a like and a subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Shit. I've got to rearrange Clash of Correspondence now. Oh, I've got a lot of work on tonight because I've got to find a new COTC for next week. Jay Barker, do you lay out your FPL team in any specific order or just random? Yes, I don't really want to be playing Suchak on the left of midfield. It quite annoys me. Brandon Madrano, what position do Spurs end in the league? What do you mean no data? This stream will end shortly unless you restart it in your streaming. Sod that. Do you lay out your... Brendan Madrano, what position do Spurs end in the league? 6th. Therese Key, brilliant as always, James. Good luck this week. Thank you. Mark FLR, City have just tweeted fixtures. Lol, brilliant. Super Tiger, does it seem realistic for the planners to make a team play 4 away games in a row? Think Saints fixtures will throw up the biggest surprises. Apex Sector, rubbish result for Barca the other night. Your People's Poll podcast the other week highlighted the issues spot on. Thank you. Thanks, Joe, for your work in the stream. Joe Finley Badder, full-time talk. Thoughts on Spurs Europa League and Jose's future. Chance. I mean, we're going to be in the next round, aren't we? Chance, but there's some good teams still in it. To be honest, every expectation that an English team could win that this year. FPL Hitman, why are Premier League stupid or they are planning something diabolical? This is trolling at the highest order. I love it. Jay Barker, also, should I start watching Sopranos or The Wire? I've not watched either, Jay. I've got no time for anything other than football, unfortunately, mate. So someone else will have to tell you that, mate. Put it on Twitter, see if anyone responds. Rowan S, Deadline Dumb Man, loved your FTLOL pod. Disappointed with no Carrick. Us Man United fans do the same. I did mention Michael Carrick at the end. I did love him. Yeah, that's one of the frequently asked questions I get, and I recommend that podcast. It's the FTLOL podcast. That's their Twitter handle as well. It's for the love of Liz. They invited me onto a podcast to discuss my greatest ever Tottenham 11. It was only meant to be about half hour. I haven't had a chance to listen back to it yet, but I think it's more like an hour and a half. If you're a Spurs fan, I highly recommend that podcast. If you go down my timeline, you'll find it. I shared it again yesterday. I'm going to skip Oh my God, the fixtures have dropped unbelievable bits. Callum Mate says, hey James, non-FPL, this year the TV rights get a new bid cycle 2022-25. Would you like more games to Amazon or stick to traditional TV, Sky, BT? To be honest, the only thing that annoys me with Amazon is the delay. The fact that I know it's at least a minute behind real live. That's a little bit annoying. It'd annoy you if you lived opposite a Premier League ground, I should imagine, when stadiums are full again. Not that that's going to affect many people. So I think Amazon needs to clean up their service. But yeah, I'm all for them getting more. The only other thing with Amazon is the night we played Liverpool, I had to watch the game via an app and Chromecast it to the TV because the streaming platform via the TV was so bad. There was obviously a huge number of people watching that game. But yeah, I'm all for... to be honest, I'm all for Sky losing games, really, because they need to up their game. And that can happen when you've had the best of it for 25 plus years. Scott Fitzgerald, hey James, will Bale start on the right versus West Ham? We're finally going to see some football from him. I don't expect him to start, Scott. I'd be surprised. I would say it's a possibility based on what I saw last night. It was good, but I wouldn't have thought so. Alejandro says, James, favourite liqueur, tequila perhaps. I mean, that solves a job quickly. I had a little stage where I kept drinking brandy for a little bit. Vodka and tonic is me when I've had too many pints. A Batsios, you must be amazing on time management. Well done. I don't know about that. I'm going to skip all the questions, but thanks for all the comments on the fixtures are out. I think I'll just leave it there, guys. But I will say, poster points, FPL captain, unbelievable graphics. What a guy, isn't he, Joss? Thank you very much, Chris, for all your hard work. Thanks for everybody who submitted questions. Apologies to those I couldn't get through, but I rattled through them as best I can. Well done to the questions as well. A lot less on the benching dilemmas this week, so really well done. That really helped me as well. Go and enjoy your game week. I've got work to do now. I've got to figure out who I'm having on Clash of the Correspondents next week. And patrons, Sky Spreadsheet update. I'm going to do it now. I'll speak to you in a bit. Have a good game week, everyone. Speak soon.